Assalamu alaikum learners. My name is Moazzam Ali and welcome to Data Analysis with Python course offered by MT Learners. In this video, we will look at how to read any data using Python's Pandas package. Once we have our data in Python, then we can perform all the subsequent data analysis procedures that we need. After that, we will go through the concept of exporting the Pandas data frame into CSV. And in addition, we will also do hands-on practice to import data using Jupyter Notebook. Data acquisition is a process of loading and reading data into notebook from various sources. To read any data using Python's Pandas package, there are two important factors to consider: format and file path. Format is the way data is encoded. We can usually tell different encoding schemes by looking at the ending of the file name. Some common encodings are CSV, JSON, XLSX, HDF, and so forth. The path tells us where the data is stored. Usually, it is stored either on the computer we are using or online on the internet. In our case, we found a data set of used cars, which was obtained from the web address shown on the slide. So let's jump towards the Jupyter Notebook to import the data. Reading data in Pandas can be done quickly in three lines of code. First, import Pandas, then define a variable with a file path, and then use the read CSV method to import the data. So first import Pandas, import Pandas as PD, then define a variable path to store the file path. Here we have a web address to the data set. So copy the address and paste it here, and then use the pandas read CSV method. Df is equal to pd dot read CSV and pass the path as an argument. However, read CSV assumes the data contains a header. Our data on used cars has no column headers, so we need to specify read CSV to not assign headers by setting header to none, as header is equal to null. After reading the dataset, it is good idea to look at the data frame to get a better intuition and to ensure that everything occurred the way you expected. Since printing the entire dataset may take up too much time and resources, to save time, we can just use data frame dot head method to show the first n rows of the data frame. So we will use df dot head and we will pass 3 as n. So here we printed out the first rows of the data. It seems that the dataset was read successfully. We can see that pandas automatically set the column header as a list of integers because we set header equals to none when we read the data. As you can see, it is difficult to work with the data frame without having meaningful column names. However, we can assign column names in pandas. In our present case, it turned out that we have the column names in a separate file only. I just copied that column names and put it here. So we have headers, all the column name. Okay, so now we will set the data frame df dot columns is equal to headers. Now, if we use the head method, we can check the dataset. We see the correct headers inserted at the top of each column. So first df dot head. So here we can see it is perfectly fine. All the columns name are present in our dataset. At some point in time, after you have done operations on your data frame, you may want to export your pandas data frame to a new CSV file. You can do this using the method to CSV. To do this, specify the file path, which includes the file name that you want to write to. So let's jump towards the Jupyter notebook to export our data frame into CSV. Here we can see we have some question marks as data points that we need to replace the mark with NaN, so the drop NA method can remove the missing values. So we need df dot replace question mark with np dot NaN. Firstly, we need to import numpy as np and store it to another data frame df1. So now we can drop missing values along the column price as df is equal to df1 dot drop na subset price column x is set to 0 df dot head. So now we have our raw data set, as you can see. After that, we are going to save the data frame df as automobile.csv to our local machine. So df dot to csv as automobile.csv. We may use the syntax like index is equal to false. That means the row names will not be written. So index is equal to false. Now the data frame is stored in our machine. Let's go back to the slides. For this course, we will only read and save CSV files. However, Pandas also supports importing and exporting of most data file types with different dataset formats. The code syntax for reading and saving other data formats is very similar to read or save CSV file, as you can see at the picture. Each column shows a different method to read and save files into a different format. Thanks for watching this video.